Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Friday, October 10, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Richie Fitzgerald and we've got some exciting stories to discuss today, some juicy ones.
Yeah, and the first one is Manchester United being sold? It has been talked about so much. Turki AlShikh yesterday tweeted a very interesting tweet that it is being sold, but sources have told BBC and a lot of other places, all the chatter is that, oh no, it's not happening. So we'll discuss that. Telegram founder, who is also an Emirati citizen, Pavel Durov, has warned of death of the free internet. It's a very interesting concept. We'll discuss that. And finally,
on his 41st birthday, just as something contemplating life and the internet.
I think that's the time when you start having thoughts. But NYU Abu Dhabi, NYU Stern Abu Dhabi basically, has launched a global financial competitive institute. It's a very nice concept. We'll talk about it, why it's so important. And mainly it's being backed by a veteran Bridgewater founder, Dalio. And we'll talk about him also, why is he so important nowadays in the Abu Dhabi scene. And the very first story, very importantly, very juicy. Manchester United could be at the center of a fresh takeover drama after sensational claims from Saudi sports chief Turki AlShikh. He's also the head of General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia. He suggested the club is in advanced talks to sell to a new investor. A UAE-based consortium is reportedly exploring a potential £5 billion bid for the Premier League giants. The group has already approached several former United players to act as ambassadors. That is what is being talked about. However, insiders at Old Trafford say they were caught off guard by Turki AlShikh's comments, insisting no formal contact has been made with the Glazer family.
AlShikh made the claim to 7.2 million followers on X late on Wednesday, calling it the best news I have heard today, as he's a big Man United fan. He also owns a club in Spain. He later clarified that he's not personally involved in the deal and that the potential investors are not from Saudi Arabia or Qatar. He didn't go as far as say they are not from the UAE, because the Daily Mail has published an article saying that the UAE consortium's plans remain at an early stage with no guarantee of a formal offer. There's been links with Hamad Al-Abar and we only know so little on this for now, but no smoke without fire, Majid.
Yes, and this development comes months after Sir Jim Ratcliffe acquired a 27.7% stake in Manchester United in a $1.3 billion minority deal. He later added $300 million for the Old Trafford Stadium as the Theatre of Dreams, as they call it, and that raised his stake 28+%. But a clause triggered in August now allows the Glazers to negotiate with new investors without Ratcliffe's approval, and that's the twist that everyone is banking on. And it could even force him to sell his part of the football club.
There's so many angles at this. It's just fascinating, from a sports story, from a Arab nations owning IP assets in the UK, from investment from IP in this region. There's so many different angles. Obviously, you've got the American Glazer interest, and it's also listed over there as well. United could earn up to £10 million from a proposed trip to Saudi Arabia this season. United didn't qualify for the Champions League, and they've been forced to find ways to make up that revenue, even though they're making a lot of revenue anyway, to play in what they're calling the Riyadh Season Cup. This is Amorim, the manager, has said that this is being worked on. They probably will come, but they don't know if they're going to play a fellow European team or one of the big Saudi giants, Al Hilal or Al Nasser, most likely, as it's Riyadh. The matches would help plug the financial gaps, as we mentioned, from United's dismal 16th position Premier League finish last season. While a takeover speculation grows, both the Glazers and Radcliffe remain publicly silent on any formal negotiations.
Who do you think is going to, let's say if it's happening, who has the financial muscle to buy them? And if it's being called Dubai, who has it?
I think when Sheikh Jassim in Qatar, it was, you covered it a lot there. The money was, the vehicle and entity wasn't set up. It was the purchasing, and I think that's where it fell apart. It's like, okay, it's Qatar, we know they have money. Okay, this guy, we know he's a reputable guy. But what's the vehicle? And I think what we often talk about here is sovereign wealth funds and credibility and vehicles, because they're not just, it's not just the national budget for that year. You actually have wealth management vehicles and assets and regulation and, people who practice this profession in other markets. I was listening to a really interesting podcast about a new entity in the US under Ari Emanuel, and they basically received Qatar Investment Authority investment to spin off a live events platform for some of the international art events, some of the tennis events, and there's $2 billion going in there with Apollo Capital and a few others, right? Something we'll probably cover this weekend on Smashi Business. But the viable entity is set up, right?
Yeah.
It's Qatar Investment Authority. It's not someone who's got a load of cash in their bank account burning a hole that they want to deploy so they can have a box at Old Trafford. So I think if and when Dubai, UAE or Dubai acquire an asset, much like Sheikh Mansour in Abu Dhabi did it under the investment vehicles that he's involved with.
The City Football Group.
And it's linked to, I think, I know the chairman of Mubadala is involved as well. So they have many investment vehicles in Abu Dhabi. We talked about Multiply yesterday. They have Dalio. They have many big investment entities. In Dubai, we have Dubai Investments. What's it called?
Dubai Investment, the Dubai International Holding Company.
That's
the main sovereign wealth.
DIH. No, sorry, Dubai International Holding. It's like, so there is a sovereign entity there. And I think that, to answer your question, I think that would likely be the vehicle. If the Daily Mail and other tweets are saying today, and the posts on X today are saying that Hamad Al-Abbar will be involved, perhaps a new vehicle will be spun up. I know that the head of Dubai Tourism, Qasim, is a huge Manchester United fan. And they've been really, really good at signing MOUs with IPs, such as with Adidas for Dubai and also with Real Madrid. So I thought that's how something might happen. I didn't think that a $5 billion check would go in, but we covered the detail there. It seems to me that Sir Jim Ratcliffe would like to hold on to United. There was talk that he was going to buy a few more shares, but I do think that if someone. He hasn't been massively successful so far on the pitch, especially. So, and it hasn't really gelled, because there's two owners, right? So I suspect that if someone comes in from here, that they would like to buy at least majority, and whether that's by the Glazers out, so you have majority in your hands on with Sir Jim or not. But I think if you have a third party in there, it's going to get even messier. But this is a huge asset. It's a huge IP. The values of sports clubs in the US. We saw what happened with Chelsea. We're seeing these, $5 billion nowadays for a football club. Doesn't feel like it's overpriced. So it's just fascinating.
Even the vehicles that you're talking about, PIF bought Newcastle, but they bought it through Surge Sports Investment. Every sports investment that goes into it. Yesterday I was talking to
I think it's under Surge Sports now, but I think when they bought it in 2021, I don't think Surge Sports existed. I think it was a pure PIF acquisition.
I thought most probably then they would have brought it, because every portfolio of sports, whatever they invested, doesn't
under
remember?
Surge,
it
which
was
is
always Surge.
Out of Australia.
I think maybe they later created it to just bring everything sports under it. But it's a very important vehicle idea that you need to have this kind of a vehicle. You can't just go in and be like, this is £5 billion, bye-bye, I'm buying this club. You need a proper setup. And City Football Group also is kind of that.
City Football Group, it's called multi-club network, multi-club group structure. I just want to add two more little flavors onto this. One is Turki AlShikh. So Turki AlShikh, there's T-shirts with his face on them in America. He's pop culture these days. The Brits love him. The Americans love him. He's the savior of boxing. We see Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn, Barry or Eddie, the son of Eddie Hearn, the dad's Barry. So Eddie Hearn has a documentary on Netflix. Where does he go to celebrate it? In Dubai, into Riyadh. Turki AlShikh is a phenomenon. He's a really popular guy, and he's getting well known in the UK. So. His post yesterday made the front page of BBC Global. It's a big thing. And so I think he's an interesting character, because he hasn't been, so far the British media know him as the guy who shakes Dana White's hands and is with Barry Hearn and puts on the Tyson Fury and the Anti-Joshua fights, and he's the boxing guy. He revived Ring Magazine. He's Riyadh Season logos all over the fights when they're in O2 in London, when they're taking over the hotels in Vegas. So Turki AlShikh is the boxing guy. But as you quite rightly mentioned, Majid, he's also general entertainment. Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season is kicking off this weekend.
Yeah.
There is a national long weekend for Riyadh season. They're doing a parade. He's announced a parade. The IP and the assets. Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber in the world, has been brought in for no small paycheck, I would imagine, into Riyadh. Turki AlShikh is a mover and shaker in the sports world. One post from him can move share prices. Do we check the United share price? But one post from him has got Britain talking. So that's a spicy one. The other thing is, the UK, and we can say it on Smashi Business out of Dubai, the UK media still hasn't sort of really digested Saudi and Gulf owning assets. There's a book called In Gulf by James Montague, which is a story of, it's that sports washing narrative, right? And it's a story of how Saudi, the tagline is how Saudi bought sport and the world. And it's all to do with that Newcastle acquisition, how it was blocked initially, then Ahmad Shabi came in, how they bought it, how they turned around, how the Newcastle fans said, we want a football club. And it's all this sort of moral discussions. You know, the UK is dealing with lots of identity crisis across financial and immigration and all sorts of things. Let them, we say. But you know, I've been at F1s where I've seen the British media separate to the Saudi media, and it's just such a juxtaposition because the journalists come from a world where this didn't exist, and now you've got to comprehend it or whatever. But they haven't just had to face it with Saudi; they face it with Roman Abramovich and American owners and all sorts of things. But I think they just have this moral discussion at their own level, and I think this is going to bring up all that as well. You know, I don't know if UAE is going to get, Dubai is going to get a freer pass, but if you look at the success that Manchester City had, you could say that that's, at some level, the people, the Man United fans who don't want to give City the credit, they'll bring up the 115 things, but the financial fair play. Financial fair play, though, not to diminish it, and because we're rushed on the show, but it is a new regulation, and there's many clubs who've been hit with things that haven't actually led with points deductions and things like that. But those who want to downplay and those who want to hate on people from this region will use things like that to say that it's not a good investment.
And it's still not proven. It's in court. It's still not, the decision hasn't been taken.
But what I would say is proven is the 2008 to 2025, the custodians of Manchester City have done an excellent job. You cannot deny that, right? Like, it's absolutely fantastic what they've done with that asset. You know, they bought it for a few hundred million, and it's worth a couple of billion now. So they've really created something of value there. And again, people will say Manchester City don't have fans and all this sort of stuff.
No, they have fans. I know a lot of my friends who've been like City fans since even before Abu Dhabi took over, and they're now happy. And they literally, just imagine, they literally turned a whole city blue. It was the song, like, it's always going to be red, but now it's blue. You can't see Manchester United anywhere apart from the...
I saw a tweet saying that, you know, brilliant investment. Dubai will be full of United jerseys. And I kind of wondered, I kind of thought, like, why do they even need to buy Manchester United? You know, we have 4 divisions of football here. We have new IPs coming up all the time. Why do we need Manchester United? Like, do the MOU thingy, do the thing that you do at Real Madrid, bring in some famous players of Manchester United, they don't have any left, but bring them in and do the IP and bring a theme park. But there's clubs that are growing here. We saw, you know, Smashi Sports do a lot of partnerships with clubs, just a little. You can watch the live games from Al-Attifaq in Division 1, you can watch Division 2 games, Arabian Falcons, Al-Kabila, which is rebranded as PAM FC, that brilliant club story that Sahel built with a Sheikh in Abu Dhabi around Football 365, you know, on TikTok, creating the club in 365 days. They got promoted. In the 3rd division, we've got Dubai Irish, we've got Falcons in Abu Dhabi. So there's 5 or 6 teams that were exclusively streaming the home games. Last season we did Precision Club. Cole Palmer is injured until November. The very talented Chelsea and England midfielder. He's at Precision yesterday. You know, John Joe Shelby, he used to play for Liverpool, made his debut live on Smashi Sports last weekend, and they won 1-0. There are, when I moved here first, Majid, the English footballers used to go to Barasti when they were retired and used to host a radio show. Now they're getting a year in with a club. And Andrea Pirlo is coaching in the 1st division with United FC, a stone throw from here. There is momentum brewing in football in the UAE. why do we need Manchester United? Like, if you look at, you know, you've got a Brazilian footballer playing with a UAE passport for UAE on Saturday night. UAE have 2 games to qualify for the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
They haven't been in there in 35 years. And he plays for Huna, not for Huna, Al Wasl, sponsored by Huna, but he plays for Al Wasl, the yellow jersey team in the UAE Pro League. And I'm just thinking of the brewing momentum of a 10 million country of IP of jerseys. Why do we need the Manchester United jersey? You know, like,
I think from a very strict investment point of view, it may make sense because they would want a big name. They would want to invest in them, maybe take them back to their glory days. It's kind of like a hobby.
They're a long way
project.
from their glory days.
Yeah, maybe they can try it. See, the City Football Group thing, the whole story is a story of like, they did it. They finally did it. They showed the world it can be done. So maybe with Manchester United, they think of it on the same lines that we may take them back. And it's a good story to tell for Dubai, even if Dubai is interested.
Yeah, look, I think the Newcastle thing got blocked, and 2 years later it went through. And I think the way the current is moving, it wouldn't surprise me if a wealth fund backed by this region. And you know that what we're seeing now, though, Majid, is co-investments.
Yeah.
You know, the one I referred to, the Ari Emanuel and Ben Shapiro one, Mari the Live Events, that's a mix of Qatar investment. It's a 2 billion headline, but it's potentially $500 million from 4 parties. I don't know the breakdown. But if that 5 billion comes through, that could be $1 billion from Al Abar, from Dubai. It could be led by something else. And I think we're seeing those types of transactions more and more.
The funny thing, yesterday I was talking to Lavnish, one of the colleagues who is a Manchester United fan.
Diehard, yeah, in denial.
He was
one
like,
of those.
Dubai, UAE, anyone who buys it from this region has $10 billion or 5 billion pounds to spend on a club. They would happily do it.
Yeah.
So that's also the thing, that they have the financial muscle to do it.
But you've got the fair play, you know, and I think this is the thing. Like, and also the funny thing is with Newcastle, a lot of the players that they were linked with in the summer choose other clubs.
Oh, yes.
They choose to join other clubs. And the fans were crying on the radio saying, we're the richest club in the world, but no one will join us. But, you know, but they're still doing well, relatively. Like, they're in the Champions League. Yeah, you know, they played against Barcelona. They replaced Isaac. Like, the club is sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the idea of financial fair play. It's not necessarily all about spending 5 billion to relive the glory days. I think those glory supporters have a long way to go before they get their glory days back.
Let's move on to something about the free internet. The second story is about Telegram founder Pavel Durov. He marked his 41st birthday not with a celebration, but with a very stark warning about what he calls death of the free internet. In a very viral post which he posted everywhere, we picked it up from X. Durov said his generation is running out of time to defend the digital freedoms that earlier generations built. He warned that what was once a platform for free exchange of information is increasingly being used as a tool of control.
Yeah, so Pavel Durov, we've covered him a lot. He's very outspoken and in a good way about internet, and you know, obviously running Telegram out of Dubai, pointed to the digital ID systems in the UK, age verification in Australia, and mass message scanning in the EU as examples of dystopian trends in liberal democracies. He also cited Germany's crackdown on online dissent, UK imprisonments over tweets, and France's investigating tech leaders defending privacy, such as himself. Yeah. He also argued that these measures threaten free speech, piracy, and individual sovereignty, warning that future generations may not inherit the open internet of the early thousands.
It was a very long tweet, but this is what he basically said. He also said that the Telegram founder has long defended digital freedoms. One of the reasons he is in jail, and Elon Musk is the next person if he ever goes to France, because both of them, to be honest, before apart
he
from
in jail, or he was?
Pavel is still in country prison. He can't leave France. He was just allowed like a month to come to Dubai. He came in March.
He's back in France.
Yeah, he's back in France. So he was only allowed a very temporary leave.
Okay.
It's a 5 million euros bail that he had to sign to just stay out of jail, but he has to stay in the country. More importantly, just quickly going through this story, we always talk about, you must have heard me and Bert talk about privacy and free speech. What is your take on it? Because it's very interesting. How much should you allow a person to say whatever comes to their mind? Because on X, you must have seen, it happens a lot now.
Yeah, there's so much you could talk about at this. Elon Musk's reason for buying X was free speech. I actually think that these platforms are freer than people say. Like, people are saying TikTok is going to be bought, and it's going to be led by Zionists or this or that, or X is this or that. I don't really think, and this could be completely naive, but I don't think that one person, even if they own those platforms, has as much control as people think. Like, I just see some of the posts that go super viral, and it's not as moderated. Yes, of course, if Zuck wants his posts to reach, he can tweak the algorithm. Musk definitely does that. Like, it's in the books. Like, he definitely pushes things. But as a base level, there's nothing stopping someone publishing something. What happens, the ramifications of that, whether it's by the countries or not. I'm not pro free speech. I'm not pro say what you like. I think you need to be accountable, and I'm not totally pro that. And I also think, like, there's a really interesting new committee established in Dubai recently called the Dubai Civility Committee, with all the top business leaders are on it. It's done by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan, and the idea is to keep the state civil. And you need discipline, and you need good conduct and good manners, and that should be in the online world as well. Like, why in a real world, if I was sitting beside you, why would I insult you? Why would I not insult you here, and then I can say it on X? Why are we creating this divide? And I think there has to be some sort of regulation. There has to be some sort of bringing together. But it is good that you do have some people pointing things out, because I think some of the examples, and I don't think he's doing it intentionally. I think he's definitely referring to some of the examples in the UK and France. Like, some of the examples in the UK wouldn't even happen in this part of the world, and our constitutions and our belief here in civility and respect to people is different. It's under Islam, it's under different sorts of guidelines and different constitutions, and I think it works, and I think the world could learn from here to a degree. So maybe when France let him go, France let him go, he can come back here, and the Telegram viewpoint can be integrated with this region's viewpoint on online.
And I think he chose this region for a reason. Whatever UAE laws don't allow, I think morally, ethically, and law point of view, you would not allow it at your home even. It's kind of like very human, basic civic sense laws that don't malign anyone. We've seen so many cases where you go and you write a bad review about a restaurant, and if you can't prove it, you're fined. And that's very important, because obviously someone spent so much money to build a restaurant and you just start writing bad reviews. It's wrong towards that business. So that's one of the situations. It's a long story. We'll discuss it someday. But lastly, let's just quickly talk about the NYU Stern School of Business at NYU Abu Dhabi. They have launched a very good research initiative, the Institute for Global Financial Competitiveness. It's supported by billionaire investor Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio has a very long 2-year history, which I have read in Abu Dhabi, since he's set up his family office here also. The institute will analyze and rank international finance centers, creating a global benchmark from the Middle East. This is the first time that such an initiative has been started from the Middle East. Usually we see UK, France, this company, that company, all these companies come from the Western world. So it's a nice move from them. And the institute's first major output will be the Financial Centers Competitiveness Index, and it will be unveiled at the Abu Dhabi Finance Week in December. We covered it last year also. We were, I think, partners with them from Love in Abu Dhabi team. So this is very important. My only question to you is, we see so many reports, the Moody's reports, the Fitch report, this report, that report, and they're always continuing to say, oh, this will happen, that will happen. This looks like a very nice move, one of the first moves. So all international financial centers, I think DIFC would be one of them. They will rank them also. So
it's fascinating. I think the headlines here are, again, the capital of capital playing a role. Abu Dhabi. There's NYU Abu Dhabi, which is really, really a thought leader in cultural worlds. Like their campus is beautiful down there. Their program is very extensive. Anyone who's in the kind of arts and culture and creative world or architecture or anything will have great things to say about the leadership, the founding people there in NYU Abu Dhabi. I think they've been around since 2012, 2013, but it's just growing year on year. So kudos to them. And then also Abu Dhabi resident Ray Dalio, who sits on the board pitches when Sheikh Tahnoon sets his board pitches of G42. And, you know, obviously this is very nice integration. I think, you know, Ray Dalio would be a really good consultant for financial competitives, given how he views how his famous books and the famous principles and his all-weather thesis on the financial headwinds, tailwinds, and things like that. So I think it's fascinating. What happens next? I have no idea. I'll wait for Majid to keep us posted. But it's great that there's a new institute on financial.
And with Ray Dalio, I think the all-weather thing that you've talked about, it's one of the best theories to diversify all your assets and never face any problem. If the US market is down, you don't care because you've invested in China also and Asia also. It's a very interesting concept. Basically, they're going to put up a report for everyone, the whole world. They'll take all the financial centers in the world and rank them on the basis of how good they are and how bad they are. It's the most important part is it's coming out of the Middle East, out of Abu Dhabi for the very first time. Usually we don't see these reports come out. It's always the West. It's always the big companies there who are ranking us. This time we'll rank them. So it's like that kind of an initiative. But I think that's a wrap for today. We're on a tight clock today, but let's see. We'll see you on Monday. But the most important thing is Expand North Star, which is starting on Sunday. I'll be there. We'll be covering there. If Rich wants to come, he can come. It's the first day.
Of course I'll be there. JITEC's amazing. And we'll be down in the World Trade Center. We'll be in Dubai Harbour. The numbers are lots of people coming in. It's very exciting. Kickoff week.
And the funny thing is, we are expecting His Highness Sheikh Hamdan. The last 2 years, he's come at the opening of Expand North Star, but it was never announced. He just came. So most probably we're expecting him there also. But JITEC starts on Monday. Expand North Star starts on Sunday. Expand North Star, a hub for startups, ends on Wednesday. JITEC runs throughout the whole week, 5 days. So it's going to be a lot crowded at Dubai World Trade Center, but we've seen it's the best place to be. The RTA suggestions are always take the metro, try to take the metro, don't drive. So we'll see at that. But Dubai Harbour, I think we will take the car. You can't take the
Get
metro
in there somehow.
But yeah, we'll cover those 2 big events. They're the biggest event that are coming. And FII is also coming. Rich is going there.
Yeah, FII is at the end of the month. The Future Investment Initiative in Riyadh will be down there. And we've got the MWC. Doha, so that famous mobile congress that's been running for years. I remember that back in 2010 has been the place to go to in Barcelona when the smartphone was coming out. It's one of the OG global conferences, and to have that in the Middle East for the first ever time is brilliant. It's really exciting, and I know our team in Augustus, Qatar, and Smashi Business down there are super excited. They've had the Web Summit for a couple of years now, and now they're getting MWC. MWC is a big deal. It's a big deal, and well done to Qatar and everyone involved for bringing it into the region. I know, Majid, you and I are really looking forward to that sort of mid-November to pop in and to join our team down there and to cover that. So lots of conferences, lots of stuff going on, thick and fast. We're busy season, and it won't stop, will it?
Yeah, it won't stop till March, I think now. Ramadan may start at Feb end, but it keeps going now. It keeps growing, the whole calendar of events. But that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description. And